In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the surface of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. God continued to create the heavens, the earth, the seas, and all living things over the next several days. He created the sun, the moon, and the stars, the plants, and all creatures that live on the earth. Everything God created was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. God blessed them and told them to be fruitful and multiply, to fill the earth and subdue it, and to have dominion over every living creature. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. God planted a garden in Eden, in the east, and he placed the man whom he had formed there. The garden was filled with all kinds of trees that were pleasant to the sight and good for food. In the middle of the garden, God placed the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God commanded the man, saying, "You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Then God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him." So God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. From the rib that God had taken from the man, he made a woman and brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. The man and the woman were both naked and were not ashamed. They lived in perfect harmony with God and with all creation. But the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field that the Lord God had made. The serpent said to the woman, "Has God indeed said, 'You shall not eat of every tree of the garden'?" The woman answered, "We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, 'You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die.' Then the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband, who was with her, and he ate. Immediately their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. When they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden, they hid from him among the trees. But God called to the man and asked, "Where are you?" The man replied, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree, of which I commanded you that you should not eat?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate." And the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." Then the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." To Adam, he said, "Because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, 'You shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return.' Then the Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. God said, 'Behold, the man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. Now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever.' Therefore the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed cherubim and a flaming sword that turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. Thus Adam and Eve began their life outside of Eden, living by the sweat of their brow, yet still under the care and guidance of their Creator. They bore children, and their descendants multiplied on the earth. Though they had fallen into sin, God's plan of redemption and hope for mankind continued, setting the stage for the fulfillment of His promises in the generations to come. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my channel to stay updated, turn on notifications in order not to miss my next video, engage with my content by liking, commenting, and sharing this video, and visit my channel to watch more helpful videos. Thank you very much for listening.